Hare Krishna. I'm going to link up with database. If someone can please confirm that the audio and the video is properly working.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Janturuvacha tasyopasanamavitum jagadad ichat ichayata nanatanor charanaravindam soham vrajami sharanami yakuto bhayam me yendrishikatiradarshi asato ntruppa janturuvacha tasyopasanamavitam jagad ichyatta nanatanurбhuvi chalaccharanarvindam soham brajami sharanam hi akuto bhayam me yandreshikatiradarshi asato nrupa janturuvacha tasyopasanamavitum jagada icyatta Nanhataro bhuvi chalaccharanarvindam soham brajami sharanam akutto bhayam me yandreshikatiradarshi asato nurupa. Hare Krishna. Synonyms, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jantu Vacha, the human soul, says, Tasya, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Upasanam, having approached for protection, Avitum, to protect, Jagat, the universe, Ichchaya, by his own will, Atananatanoho, who accepts various forms, Bhuvi on earth, Chalat, walking, Charanaravindam, the lotus feet, Saham, I myself, Vrajami, go, Sharanam, unto the shelter, he, indeed, Akutta Bhayam, giving relief from all fear, Me, for me, Yena, by whom, Idrishi, such, Gati, condition of life, Adarshi was considered, Asattaha, impious, Anurupa, befitting. Translation. The human soul says, I take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appears in his various eternal forms and walks on the surface of the world. I take shelter of him only because he can give me relief from all fear, and from him I have received this condition of life, which is just befitting my impious activities. Purport. The word Chalacharanaravindam refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who actually walks or travels upon the surface of the world. For example, Lord Ramchandra actually walked on the surface of the world, and Lord Krishna also walked just like an ordinary man. The prayer is therefore offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who descends to the surface of the earth or any part of this universe for protection for the protection of the pious and destruction of the impious. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that when there is an increase of irreligion and discrepancies arise in the real religious activities, the Supreme Lord comes to protect the pious and kill the impious. This verse indicates Lord Krishna. Another significant point in this verse is that the Lord comes ichchaya, by his own will. As Krishna confirms in Bhagavad Gita, Sambhavami Atmamayaya, I appear at my will by my internal potency. He is not forced to come by the laws of material nature. It is stated here, Ichchaya, he does not assume any form, as the impersonalists think, because he comes at his own will, and the form in which he descends is his eternal form. As the Supreme Lord puts the living entity into the condition of horrible existence, he can also deliver him, and therefore one should seek shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. Krishna demands, give up everything and surrender unto me. It is also said in Bhagavad Gita that anyone who approaches him does not come back to accept a form in material existence, but goes back to Godhead, back home, never to return. Hare Krishna. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृष्णभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ संकीर्तन नामिने Hare Krishna. So, thank you, dear devotees, for joining this morning's Bhagavad class. So, what we will understand in a little bit more detail is the personal aspect of God and His supreme will. Of course, this is going to be a repetition of whatever we know, but spiritual topics are such, the more you read, the more you get absorbed in them, the more realizations we get. It never gets stale. Hare Krishna. So, personal aspect of God. Here's a question for all of you. The image on the right is of Krishna as a cowherd boy. What is he called in this form? Anyone can answer if you know. And I'm certain there are many who know. Don't feel shy, please. Unmute and
Gopal.
Gopal. Yes, Gopal as the cowherd boy. Gopal. But there is something very beautiful about his pose, if you can see. In this pose, what is he called? Even the pose on our altar, temple altar, Shama Sundar, the three bending form of him. So, we'll get into more details on this personal aspect of God, as what Prabhupada has explained. Prabhupada has used the example that he walks. Yeah. So, one thing we need to understand, the basic, fundamental truth is God is a person. There are people who say God is light, God is energy, God is love. Yes, these are all his energy and his qualities. But if at all there is energy, there has to be the energetic. The energy just cannot exist as is. So God is a person, the supreme person, just like you and I are persons. He is the supreme person. And being the supreme person, he is the supreme proprietor, which means that everything, he is the owner of everything, whatever there is. We think we are the owner of this house, the car, this, that, whatever it is. But actually, he is the original and the absolute owner. Being the owner, he is the controller. If you are the owner, you can control that thing absolutely. We go to the market and we'll buy apples. And then you think that, oh, I have purchased these apples, so these apples belong to me because I paid for it. You keep that apple on the counter, and after a few weeks, it'll start getting deteriorated. You have no control over the apple. The apple will take its own course. So we think it's an illusion that we are the owner. However, the actual owner means you have full control. You'd be able to tell the apple, you will not rot. But that's not possible. But with Krishna, because he's supreme, he is the ultimate controller, the supreme proprietor, he is the supreme controller. And being the proprietor and controller, he is the supreme enjoyer. Dhanurvar Maharaja said, Krishna doesn't have to now in half an hour go to work and then, start the day with whatever meetings, projects, this, that, deadlines, things like that. No, he has nothing to do in one sense. All he has is his pastimes, and everything is there for his enjoyment. So keep this in mind, dear devotees. Krishna is the supreme person means that he is the absolute owner, controller, and enjoyer. Now, even in the Bible, it says, God made man in his image. What does it mean? We have this image. So similarly, this image is like a Xerox copy, you can say, of Bhagwan himself. Now, here comes a very important truth, the Achintya Bhed Abheda Tattva. We should understand it very clearly. It is simple and it makes the most sense. Now, man, when we say God made man in his image, man has similar qualities like God. So many a times, actually, there's this word, soham. It's also there in this word, in this verse, soham. Soham means where the soul is saying that I'm one with you. This is one explanation, right? I'm one with you. One with you means what? Not that I'm merged into you and I've become you. That can never happen. Each of us has a unique, distinct identity, which is eternal. It is eternal. We are jivas. Similarly, God has his identity. It is eternal. Now we have qualities like God, but these qualities are in minute quantity in man, whereas, the quality, it is similar. That is the difference. Achintya, Bhed, Abheda, Tattva. That is what it is. Hare Krishna. God has a form and a name. Like just now, Prabhu said, right? Gopal, Sham Sundar, Madhav, Keshav. There are so many names, innumerable forms and names. What we learn from the Shastras is just a sampling, but he has innumerable forms, innumerable names. But all his forms are Satchitananda. That is, this form is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. Now, if you make a contrast with the material body that we possess, correct? Our thing is not sat, it is not eternal. This body is always changing, right? It is going to get old, and finally, dust it is made from, to dust it shall return. The body is not aware of anything. When the soul leaves the body, it's just a lump of material. So it is asat, achit, yeah, and ananda, nirananda, this material body, full of miseries. You know how many sources of misery, especially as you start aging. However, Krishna, his form is Satchitanand. Whatever form he comes in, whether he comes as Matsya, or he comes as Narsimha or Rama, whoever, Mahaprabhu, it's always Sat Chit Anand. One thing we also need to keep in mind, dear devotees, that, recently we celebrated Janmashtami. Now, Krishna comes as a baby boy, apparently helpless, but all his potencies are always with him. Whether he is a newborn baby, whether killing Putna, or whether he is a young coward boy breaking the pots of the gopi, stealing all the butter, or whether he is the majestic king on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. His potencies, do not decrease. In fact, it is always growing, it is exponentially. His potency is always expanding. That is who Krishna is. One person asked Prabhupada the trick question, Prabhupada, is there something that God can make so heavy that even he cannot lift it? Now, whatever be the answer would show some limitation in God. Suppose the answer is no, he can't lift so heavy, then he's not God, because there is something God cannot do. And if he can make something heavy and not lift it, still there is something God cannot do. So how can he be God? So Prabhupada replied, of course, there is something God can make which is so heavy he cannot lift it. But the next second, he'll very easily lift it, very easily. Why? Because his energy is always expanding. Now, his original form, in this three bending pose is called Sham Sundar. And his original name, he has countless names. You see, even we also have names, but we may have just a few names, right? Like I have my legal or biological name when I was born. I have my spiritual name, right? In the culture or the tradition is when you take sannyas, you may be awarded a sannyas name. So there are different names. You could also be having a nickname which your friend and family since childhood know you by. Yeah. But these are again limited. How many would there be? Three, four, five names which would be there. However, Krishna, being unlimited, has unlimited names, unlimited names, based on the activities, what he does. Like Prabhu said, Gopal. What is Go? Go is the cow, and Pal is the protector or the caretaker of the Pal, of the Go. Go is also the senses, you know. And if we are aligned with Krishna, the shelter, the senses are so turbulent. Krishna takes charge of that Gopal. So his original name is Krishna, and what it means, Krishna, the all attractive. And what is attraction if you see at the six main headings? Beauty, strength, knowledge, renunciation, and wealth. Hare Krishna. Now, being a person, persons have personalities. You and me, we all have a personality. You say sometimes like, oh, uska nature aise hi hai. Someone is Hasanmukhi. Someone is all the time grumbling. Someone is all the time finding faults. Someone is all the time in seva bhavna, wants to serve others. Someone is very active, someone is very passive. These are personalities. Personality is the characteristic of a person. So if he is the supreme person, he also is the supreme personality. He is the supreme personality. And having this personality, he engages in pastimes. Brahma Samhita says these pastimes are like waves. There are waves in the ocean. No one can actually count. It's continuous. And his pastimes, we have a start and an end, whatever we do, finite. However, with Krishna, it is eternal, it is ever going. And what he does is he has a unique relation with each and every living entity. Every living entity has a unique relationship with Krishna. And that relationship is based on what we feel for Krishna. So he could engage in us with a mood of neutrality, just awe and reverence, like the cows in Vraja, as a master, that is Das, as a friend, as a child. Some people consider children, Krishna as their child. So, yes, he comes as their child or as a lover. This is what his personality is all about. Then, Krishna is the cause of everything. Sarva Karana Karanam. Actually, all there is Krishna and Krishnas. People say, show me God, show me God, show me God. First of all, you should understand who is God. What is God all about? In absence of that, someone will say, show me diamond. And if you don't know what really a diamond is, I could give you a piece of shining glass and say, this is diamond. How are you to know? So people have some conception, half-baked idea, or a misconception, totally wrong understanding of God and want to see God. You want to see God. I've said this before. Sachi Rani's brother-in-law, her older sister's husband, he always said, Mala Dev Bagaitse, I want to see God, I want to see God, I want to see God. Always he would say, I want to see God, I want to see God. So one day Sachi Rani asked him, okay, for a moment, just imagine that you have met God. You have seen God. Abhi God आपके सामने बैठे हैं इधर. You get it right across you. You're sitting in front of God. Now what? And he got totally baffled, blank, bewildered. His jaw dropped. He visualized it and he didn't know what. He didn't know what. So what there is that when we talk about Bhagwan, everything there is, we should understand who we are. If we have self-realization, then we know God realization. And if there is self-realization, you can literally see God everywhere. They say the hand of God is in everything. So when we look out, you see a tree, you'll see the tree. You won't see the tree as just as a tree. You get it? An object, you'll know that that is also a jiva, why it got the form, how it got the form, how it has been created, so much variety. You see, even inanimate things like outside my window, I can see there are cars in the parking lot over there. Okay, that is inanimate. Who has made it? Man has made it. His intelligence, where did it come from? So all this, he's the cause of everything. And all these are nothing but expressions of his energy. Three types of energy: internal, external, and marginal. We are the marginal energy. Yeah. So the internal and marginal is spiritual in nature, and the external energy is material. Hare Krishna. Now, when we say God is everywhere, all there is Him and Krishna and Krishna's. What does that mean? He's also within us. He's also outside of us. Krishna is everywhere. Even in the atom, the space between atom, Krishna is there, right? So within us and outside us, his omnipresence. This is one of his omnipotence, omnipresence, and omniscience. So his omnipresence, he's all around. There is no time space where Krishna is not there. Everywhere, he's everywhere. Now, this is the truth, the absolute truth. And one can progressively realize it as his effulgence called the Brahma, Brahman, his localized aspect called the Paramatma, and the ultimate, the Bhagwan. So you come to different stages, correct? Now, Bhagwan descends on earth as an avatar. Avatar means to descend. And why does he do it? Bhagavad Gita paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chandushkritam dharma samstha pranathaya sambhavami yuge yuge. He comes to re-establish the principles of religiosity. As time passes by, the principles of dharma, religiosity, duty, discipline, all things good, start deteriorating. It starts um, just getting um, destroyed. That's what is happening. And we can see in our lifetime, what values keep changing. Something earlier, which would have been a definite no-no, is now a yes, yes. In this yuga, Kali Yuga especially, my Guru Maharaj says it is very difficult to do the right thing. And it is so easy to do something which is incorrect, something which is wrong. Take, for example, our driving habits. We all drive, everybody drives. Whether you're on the street, which is 25 miles an hour, or whether you're on the freeway, which is 65 miles an hour, or, in Montana, they don't have speed limit. In certain places, it's, whatever is prudent. However, how many of us actually follow the speed limit? Here's an exercise. Next time you go out on the freeway, follow the speed limit. If it's 65 miles an hour, put it on cruise control, 65 miles an hour. You see the level of honking and the dirty looks you get. You are following the law, but that urge is there. 65, let me break it. And then we justify to ourselves that, oh yeah, 65 miles, but cops won't give you a ticket if you're going under 10, over 10 miles. So keep it at around 73, 74 miles an hour. To do the wrong thing is easy, but if you're doing the right thing, you could, you'll upset a lot of people. Hare Krishna. So he comes here to re-establish the principles of dharma. And he comes as an avatar, but the avatari, he comes once in the day of Brahma. Brahma is the original being in the material world. He is the architect of everything. He is you could say he is the secondary architect. The design, everything is already there. Krishna has done it. He comes and puts the shape, and he actually comes and executes it. You could say he's the project manager. So Once in the day of Brahma, Brahma has 311 trillion 40 billion human years. That is equivalent to his 100 years. So one day of Brahma is approximately 8.5 billion human years. That's when Shri Krishna comes. And we are so fortunate just in our recent time. Look at this time scale, 311 trillion years. Just 5,000 years back, Krishna Swayam came here on Mother Earth. However, Krishna finishes his pastime by his own sweet will and he returns to his abode. You know, all the same, he's still there. He's still there. It's just this level of consciousness which we need. He's present in his word, Bhagavad Gita, scriptures about him, Bhagavatam, his representatives, the Vaishnavas, the Gurus, the Sadhus, his deity forms. We come into the temple. These deities are not metal, they are Swayam Bhagwan. But how do you actually see him everywhere? How do you see his hand in everything? Intellectually, we may understand, intellectually, it may make sense, logically, it all seems fine. But to actually realize it, how is that possible? That is only possible through the process of self realization called Krishna consciousness. So currently, we are all realized in the wrong identity of ourselves. We think we are the body. But if we can actually understand that we are the spirit soul and function as the spirit soul, then we can actually have self realization and automatically God realization comes through. Hare Krishna. If you need more detailed information, dear devotees, please go to Brahma Samhita. It's there on Veda base. Please read this. It gives full details about God, his abode, his pastimes, everything. Hare Krishna. You'll come to supreme will. All that exists, as we said, is Krishna and Krishna's energies. So these are the three forms of his energy. Being the supreme proprietor, he is the supreme controller of everything. Now, we could either, align ourselves and directly come under his control or indirectly. Current state is we are rebels. We are indirectly under the control of Mahamaya. We have free will, but still we can't act alone. The other day I was talking with Sachi Rani, and we think we are the doer of activities. You do something good, some accomplishment, and we feel so proud. Oh, I was able to do this. Whatever. Oh, Kirtan, so nice. People come and tell me, oh, you sing so well. Oh, class, you give so well. Oh, I made a good investment and I'm getting great returns. So this is what we think. We are the doer, but actually we are not doer. We have the free will. We can decide whether to do or not do. But actually, when everything goes into motion, it is not really our doing, so to say. So there are five major aspects to any activity, whatever takes place. First of all, there is this body. Without the body, what can you do? There are the senses. Senses are the portals which will help us accomplish things. Then the actual endeavor, right? So where is all this coming from? Then you have the soul, which has that free will. And yes, I want to do it. And then the super soul who sanctions, who sanctions it. Super soul is like a witness he sees. Yeah. So when we have this free will, most of this free will is towards the body and the senses. So all this endeavor, whatever we are doing, is to gratify these sensual desires that we have. However, when please understand, it is his supreme will. There is a saying, if he brings you to it, he'll take you through it. Yeah, but take you through it means what? Just take you, drag you for it? No, take you through it is if you willingly want to go. If you don't want to go, you'll say, okay, fine, you know, make, sleep in the bed that you've made. This is how it is. So if we have a free will and willingly, we want to change the status quo, that process is called Krishna consciousness. And that is what Sarva Dharman Parityaja is all about. Krishna says what to do. Abandon all varieties of religion, this, that, and all that. Simply surrender to me. How you surrender, that is the process of Krishna consciousness, or also what is known as bhakti. Hare Krishna. And if that's what happens, karma will happen, but destiny is what we make out of it. So as long as our will is aligned with his supreme will, you get it, then that is perfection. Hare Krishna. So, Prabhu, sorry, I went 1 minute over, Mataji's. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Over to you, Madhupati Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Manitan Prabhu. We would like to wish everybody a safe and Krishna conscious day ahead. Today is Ekadasi, minimally fasting from grains and beans and increasing our Krishna consciousness. There's also Ekadasi Kirtan in the evening, but also our offerings to Srila Prabhupada, verbal offerings to Srila Prabhupada will continue in the evening from 7 p.m. We like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shina Shingo, Jaina Shingo, Jaina Shingo, Praladesha, Jaya Padma, Mukha Padma Bringam. Ugraveeram Mahavishtum Jwalantam Sarvatmukam Narsingam Vishanam Bhadram Mityam Namiham. Nrsimha Bhagwan ki jai, Prabhupada Maharaj ki jai. Our humble obeisances to all the Samal Vaishnavas. Patitanam Pavanebhayo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Vaishnavinda ki jai, Grantha Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Shubha Ekadashi.
Thank you, everybody.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.